In the last episode of Metric's Dungeon, our heroes Winston Ducados and Eduardo have just vanquished the familiar of a powerful magic user, clearing a farm that was supposed to be inhabited by mere bandits. Their elven compatriot Alira beckons toward the cellar of a small farmhouse. The house itself seems clear, but the cellar's heavy locks belies an importance kept within. With the help of Alira's magic, they step into the cellar, and they're struck with a terrible sight. Pools of poison covering the ground. As our heroes investigate the green liquid, which one of them misidentifies...
Oh, wow.
Failure.
Winston's just like, this apple juice smells funny.
mounds of flesh coalesce into grotesque monsters and attack. The fleshy threats are handily dealt with, and the duo sweep the area. They see an opportunity and decide to augment their weapons with elemental runes. The pair press onward. Heading towards the next room, they see a tangled mess of cursed spiderwebs blocking its entrance. Winston subtly deals with the situation, but catches the ire of a bone widow. Once again, the heroes deftly deal with the necromantic creature. On its corpse, Eduardo finds a healthy, decapitated head. He nibbles on this morsel and learns its previous owner's secrets. Eduardo feels the wealth and power of its previous owner. He also knows a great trust for an unknown person with a ring emblazoned with the sigil of the Silver Canary. Upon further investigation, the cellar seems to be a weapons forge, perhaps of dwarven origin, and it had recently been upturned by the dark creatures. Reaching the end of the cellar, the pair see a crystal pillar which Winston recognizes from his tutelage. It's a totem of sorts, able to teleport, transmute, and other untoward things, and is also surrounded by death fog, a potent poison that will kill instantly. Eduardo, seemingly possessed and to the surprise of Winston, casually runs up to the crystal beacon and deactivates it. He promptly keels over and dies. Miraculously, he's revived, albeit with the feeling of a complete and all-consuming hunger. After coming to terms with his temporary death, the two happen across a desk containing 3 obviously poisoned beverages, which Winston remembers undead creatures consume, and a note, an agreement of safe passage for an individual, accompanied by the Silver Canaries. Alira rejoins our companions and asks if the crystal beacon had been touched. Eduardo explains what had transpired, and Alira bathes him and the beacon in holy fire, both dispelling the death fog and ensuring that Eduardo had not become undead. She claims that these beacons are used by either the undead or the Zis, an evil lizard-like race of people. The only non-undead or serpentine person she knows of that may be able to utilize this beacon is Cavail, the powerful, slightly racist elven mage. Alira then asks for a private audience with Winston, and Eduardo respects her request and leaves them be. She questions Winston about his homeland and whether he's seen a mother tree before. Winston tries very, very hard to remember, and does recall seeing one. Alira then urges us to find Cavail and bring him to this place immediately. The duo begin the trek back to town to inform their employee that the farm is now clear. Heading across the bridge though, an assertive voice demands back a certain crossbow. It's Olaf, the untrustworthy drunk whom our heroes withheld a dangerous weapon from. Our heroes deliberate, and Olaf sends forth a large spider to deal with them. Olaf then presents himself and demands the crossbow one last time. Our heroes could not let such a weapon be returned to one as questionable as Olaf. He leaves our heroes with no choice than to defend themselves. The powerful foe seems to have a major upper hand, that is until reinforcements arrive. Anne, who recruited us to clear the farm, and Liam, the leader of the local militia. With the cooperation of these allies, Olaf is finally slain. Eduardo sees a potentially incriminating circumstance and discreetly urges Winston to remove the offending item. Luckily, Liam already knows that they were in possession of this extremely deadly assassin's crossbow, and asks for its return. Winston negotiates, albeit poorly, to sweeten the deal for themselves. A deal is nonetheless secured, and our heroes are assured that the crossbow will be dealt with safely. Our extremely conscientious adventurers make sure that no loot is left behind to fend for itself. They then make their way back to town and sort through Olaf's cargo with Liam's blessings. They seem to contain armor and weapons for a warrior, an assassin, and a mage, destined to be delivered to unknown people. This piques the interest of our adventurers. They make sure to make good use of the armor they found. A curious party investigates the investigation. Olena introduces herself to the duo and knows of Olaf and the trouble he brings. She asks if they have come across her ring, which was found upon the body of a thief from earlier. The ring being returned, Olena happily gives a fair reward and is happy to help if need be. Many mysteries still lay ahead, and our heroes tread onward toward the truth. And this is where our adventurers are. What happens next? Find out this week on Metric's Dungeon.
Well, greetings and salty stations.
Salty station to you all.
We are back, and we're going to get into it. And we are going to bring on the man. Where is he?
Mr. Dunn himself.
Mr. Dunn himself, our dungeon master. We have to abide by everything he says. Let's see where he is.
Sound is so soothing. Like I'm in a 90s RPG. It's like a 8-bit or whatever. It's like it's just that.
Were you having a good time, man?
Yeah. Just kind of quietly. I was just like making sure everything was set in the scene beforehand. I was like, oh, what's this?
Well, sorry to have bothered you, but if we can play a bit of, Divinity Original Sin, that'd be lovely.
Would thoroughly.
That's alright. I've already invited Barry.
Okay, you get nervous.
So if you need another invite, that's fine. But
I think
Baz, if you need another invite. Nice job clicking that link.
I lose all my invites all the time. I'm sorry. That's just the way that I am. See,
okay.
Right on the other hand.
Well, as soon as I get invited, I'm gonna have to click over because, as we know, if you Alt Tab, it's all over. Divinity has that weird bug where you do a single. Oh, nice. Hey, it's Lanaz. I don't know how to say that. Lazanaz. Oh, it's Lazanaz. That makes much more sense. They use the same mic.
Oh, what the hell?
The Rode. It's such a good mic. It's so good. All right, man. All right, let's do this. I think I've been invited.
Ooh,
Just gonna switch over. Do. Whoa!
The magic of
the magic of industry. All right, so unfortunately we have to push ourselves up a little bit, so it looks like we're floating. But if we don't, we can't do anything once the game loads because Divinity has this fucking crazy bug where you cannot ever exit the screen.
Yeah, any old tabs will instantly.
And we worked that out over 2 streams.
Oh yeah, because why? Why does this freeze? What the hell's going on?
Which now means I can't see the chat and I can't do anything about it.
Cool. Oh shit.
Which is not great.
I can't see Lazanaz. Lazan AZ.
Can't see anyone.
Lazanaz.
If you have a mobile
jump out and jump back in.
Gotcha. No, that's alright. I'll get the chat up. Well, I've on 1% battery. That's not going to work very well, is it?
That's like, don't worry.
That's us.
He's like, oh no, what have you done? He's like, don't worry, I'm here to rescue you. 1% battery.
That is not going to work.
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually have the stream usually, for whatever reason I can't, the chat's not uploading for me on my stream view anyway. I might have to just,
oh really?
Jump out. But I have it, that's just on my end though probably. My phone's been playing up a bit lately. I think it's an S6 that was a hand-me-down, and it's starting to.
Oh, gotcha.
Starting to
do its thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Remember that S9's about to come out. It's activating self-destruct mode.
It's not overheating too much or anything. Yeah, I can't see the chat. I think it's my phone.
Tablet.
Well, that's...
okay.
Oh, we have 2 choices. I can jump out. Ooh. If I click something, it's gonna.
If it wrecks, we'll be back in a sec. Chat's not working.
Chat's not working. Yeah, that's yep.
All right, so chat's not working, and the game's frozen now.
Oy vey.
Oi.
Why, yeah.
Well, listeners, we can see what you said, and it's nice to meet you too.
It's nice to meet you.
Hello, Andrew. We can see you.
Andrew's like, dope. Alright, we got the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Can you invite me back in, Metric Dunn? We'll get this show on the road.
Of course I can. I can see Andrew, but I couldn't see anyone else. So,
everyone else was hiding from
me. It's weird. Yeah, no, I don't know what's...
We're also on Twitch as well, my friend, so there might be some chats you can't see.
Oh, yeah, of course you... Yeah, true.
Feel free to jump on there as well.
I can't do both at the same time.
It's Lazanaz faces this stuff as well.
Oh, good.
Andrew was like, banana chat?
Banana chat? Yes, correct. Give us bananas.
Yes, Andrew.
I guess the good thing is that the Twitch viewers can see the YouTube chat, But we haven't got a method of having the YouTube viewer see the Twitch chat
Oh,
yet.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to do it, but then I'm thinking it might be just too much crap on the screen.
Maybe.
I forgot you do both anyway. No, it's fine. As long as I know there's no problem on your end or on my end, that's fine. As long as I know I'm not considered.
Lazinaz doesn't want to talk to you, so you know, we'll just have a secret conversation amongst
it's
ourselves.
Alright. I'm just gonna write in like a mysterious prick, and his name will be Lazinaz. He does not pay heed to the gods.
Thanks, Lazinaz. Lazinaz is actually on YouTube as well, so now he knows.
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
All of a sudden, everything changes. Okay, so
all right.
Over to you, my friend.
3, 2, 1. All right. So, as we left off last time, you had adventured through the farm, cleared it, made your way back, fought Olaf, and now you're here. You've just pilfered most of his equipment and gear, as Liam gave you ownership of his goods. He forfeited them by his crimes.
All right, you keep telling us that whilst I Alt F4 and alter the sound a little bit.
God damn it!
Because every time I have to do anything, we just played a different game for the first time, as Lazinaz knows and as the guys know, and we had to change the volume, and we went back, but we might have overshot.
All right, let's do a quick test.
James, can you tell us something in your little sexy, sultry voice?
What you
Do
wearing?
you want me to sexy? I'm like, well, currently I am shirtless.
Oh, hello.
Ooh,
And I am wearing very, very short-legged shorts for the purpose of comfort in my very hot concrete room. Yes, I'm quite sweaty as we speak. I'm moist, you could say.
If you see his laptop start to rise,
Oh man, hey, can you invite me back into the game? Oh man, that is is that better, guys? Is that better? The horror.
Oh, Andrew, don't even lie, man. Don't even lie.
Alright, banana done if everything's better.
Hey man, body acceptance, guys. I'm a big, beautiful baby, right?
Yes, you are.
You certainly are, yeah.
No.
What is that YouTube emote? Oh my gosh.
Is that a thing?
I think that was meant to be a wave, but it's like weird.
It looks like a way from a very pretty, plain-faced lady wearing a purple long-sleeve shirt. Or maybe
How dare you assume her gender?
she's just
Yo,
long-haired
see if we,
gentleman, a long-haired person.
see if we can get that pregnant emoji on here as well.
What?
Metric Dunn started putting a metric emoji on everything I said in Discord, and I said in 9 months' time I'm going to start putting baby emojis.
To this day,
I was like, why is there a pregnant woman emoji? Like, I didn't have anything against it. I was just like, why is it here?
What's going on?
Who asked for that?
It seems very useful.
Why?
Okay,
Oh, right.
So you don't need to repeat yourself because everyone's heard.
All seriousness, yep. All seriousness, back to it.
Okay.
Basically, you've just pilfered all that stuff,
Yep.
and
And did we get all of it? Let's go have a look.
basically, there's some. I believe you may find there's some wizard gear in there that you.
Here we go. I might just take this stuff, Baz, because I don't think either of us are going to directly wear it just yet. But
yeah, no.
Seems pretty crazy to leave it.
Absolutely, it's
Alright, cool.
We'll go to
Now,
better use.
as Eduardo has wandered over to the smith's corner, and Dorlan is working away on a sword, and he's walking away on a custom job, commission job.
It's a nice looking sword.
Commission, it is, isn't it? It's like
Yeah, he's quite skilled.
I'm worried about how close Eduardo is to that sword.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if I'm looking at quickly, you're basically
please don't
circumcised
steal it.
yourself just then. You whipped right around a bit too quick.
Don't worry, Eduardo wouldn't know the difference between circumcised and not.
It felt kind of nice in a weird way. I don't know.
Oh god. Oh, we're gonna have a masochistic vacuum harem. Anyway, okay.
Okay, Eduardo, do you want to
All
talk
right.
to anyone?
So, yeah,
Well, we
you
spoke
spoke to
Elena.
Elena.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dorlan seems to be quietly working away on his sword.
Let's have a chat because we've got a whole bunch of stuff now.
Oh, wow,
And
yeah.
I've got this axe as well. This big one here. Then I'm not
All right.
gonna
So, did
use
you
it.
want to?
Maybe I'll talk to him better.
Yeah, sure.
Greetings.
He puts his hand up, and he makes a symbol similar to, you guess, can't speak.
Like this.
Okay.
He points to his wife.
Oh.
Points to his wife. Sort of zips over his mouth and then points to his wife.
Oh, so he said. So you can't talk because your wife's a bitch.
What? Did you say that out loud?
No.
Gotta be careful.
She wanders over. She wanders over and she says, "Oh, my friends who found my wedding ring. Dolan and I are so happy." Dolan sort of cheerily keeps hammering away and looks a little happier than he was before. She goes, "How can I help you?"
Oh, he's so happy but he's like, he doesn't even need to talk. He's just satisfied.
Yeah.
Isn't that
that's
lovely? Hey, Elena. Sorry to bother you. We were just wondering if Dolan would be able to identify this axe that we found. Or tell us anything about it.
Oh, yes.
I'll try and see if I can,
she'll just get...
There you go.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. But you get, just chuck it there and you'll have an examination of it.
Just leave it on the ground.
I'll just gingerly place it on the floor.
Yeah, that'll do. Yep. All right, I need you both to make perception rolls.
Here we go.
All right.
It's time for the rolls.
Try and swipe it.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
We did
It's
it.
pretty clear. Oh, and I also want you to make memory checks.
Memory checks. I often do. I either do really well on memory
You
checks
do
or
oddly
very
well at memory checks. Yeah, you do oddly well at memory checks.
Now that you've said that, though,
Yeah,
Oh,
of
that's
course.
brilliant. Okay,
I'm like, "Duh."
so Eduardo.
Axe?
What's that axe on the ground for?
So the two of you looking at each other recognize that Dolan has what looks to be a pretty deformed lower jaw, almost like it's fused to his upper jaw.
Right. He's actually.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And Eduardo remembers, he may share this with Winston, but Eduardo remembers that earlier Dolan was referenced by Parthen and how he was not very chatty, but an excellent smith. So
Interesting.
it's clear that he has suffered some sort of severe injury at some stage,
Gotcha.
or a birth defect. Can't be entirely certain. Now,
Gotcha. Interesting.
Dolan
Probably-
walks
probably
over.
Don't tell me about that now. Right in front of him.
Okay, so Dolan picks up the axe. He runs his finger across the blades, down the middle, swings it around a bit, and he notices that
I jump back.
he seems to be quite adept with a blade. He's not going to hit you. And he designates
Roll for damage.
that the blade is made of more or less a distilled bone concoction. So basically,
Oh, interesting.
bones and blood were sort of purified and then smelted into a blade.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to search my memories from my noble tutelage, because I did learn a little
Yep.
bit about necromancy and things like that.
Okay.
And I'm going to wonder if I know what sort of person or sort of creature would use this weapon.
Sounds good.
Oh, I remember strongly
Wow, yeah.
that...
You have a little flash of memory that you just remember that you've heard of those weapons before. The vapors. You've heard of those types of weapons before. However, they aren't aligned with anyone specifically. They're a very old type of weapon. They've been around for a long time. No one knows who first started doing it, but it is an uncommon and arduous practice that would require quite a skilled, if not magically adept smith.
Interesting.
Does it look
And it's
old?
more a sign. It's you can't determine that. It doesn't look used, but it doesn't look like it was straight out of the fire either.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's not chipped or anything.
Okay, so it
But it
looks,
may
looks
just
like
be
it's
like-
been well
But,
kept.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I just
Yeah.
assumed, based on the fact that it was made out of bone and that sort of stuff, that it might relate to the creatures we encountered before.
Yeah, well, blood and bone.
Yeah, he winks and throws up a finger at his wife, a nice finger. And
Love you, hun!
and she says, "Where'd you find it?"
Oh, I search my memories as I have forgotten.
Whoops.
Well, I'll give that to you. He throws it back on the smith, and he's still examining it. You just got it from Olaf's stash.
That's right.
It was with the other weapons that were with the assassin weaponry and the assassin gear that is now being donned by Eduardo.
Interesting. We retrieved this from the stash that Elena was guarding.
Oh. Well, she wasn't guarding it. She just
was
kind of.
ma-
It was
like
on
maintaining
their. It was on their property. They were just She goes, I don't know how I feel about this. Take it with you, and I'll do some investigating. My brothers, Roger and Dodger, will know a little bit more about this.
Yes, they will. Okay, I have to steal it to take it back, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. They won't
That's fine.
Yeah, what's a little theft between friends? Eduardo feels that way anyway.
Especially
All right,
when
she
everyone's around.
Friends.
yeah, she walks back to the kiln, and Dorlan sort of waves you goodbye. It's very early in the morning. They look like they're preparing for the day of smelting.
Oh, we better get out of the way then.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so you wanted to go see Robin for your reward. That was the next step, wasn't it?
That's
I
right.
think so, yeah.
So we'll head down.
Thank you for your
Alright.
service.
Thank you, good
She-
sirs and ma'ams.
He waves. He waves very.
And gives the
Genuinely,
customer a
yeah.
goodbye finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The customer.
Yeah, exactly. But all right. So as you're walking towards the tavern, from the upper area, you saw the mercenaries last time. You hear a bit of rabble rousing, and then you hear, "Ah, my friends, please join us."
Oh, I'm
That
scared.
sounds familiar, actually.
Friends, I'm concerned.
Let's go have a look.
All right, sounds good.
It's Parthon!
And you wander up, and Parthen,
I'll let you stand closer to him. He likes you more.
he's there with his. He winks at Eduardo as he wants to go. "Hello, my boy. How are you? The swordfish sitting well?"
Down a hole somewhere, it certainly is.
Oh, wonderful. He says to you, "I have some business for you."
Thanks, Lazanas.
Thanks,
Rather-
thanks so much, my man.
Good to meet you too. Sorry, Metro.
Sorry about that.
Sorry,
No, you're right.
Sorry, Dungeon Master.
A lovely fellas come along.
Please forgive us, please.
My boy, it's lovely to see you. Have fun on the farm, did you?
Well, it was a bit more of an adventure than we bargained for, but I think we've done well. I think we've done good work this eve.
I as well. I did.
And I get the sense that Olaf won't be bothering anyone anymore. Eh?
You sense rather correctly, Parthon.
Ah, good. I'd wonder if the senses are dulled in my old age.
Still as sharp as a
He
tack.
sort of, yeah, he takes a big swig of beer. Again, it's like 3:30 in the morning. And
He doesn't care.
he gestures to the people at the table, and he goes, "These are the lovely caravan guard that I picked up on the way back from Harrenport that will now be accompanying me to Nazul. I'm going to have to leave early, and I won't be able to bring you with me. However, when you're done here, feel free to drop by."
Very well. So is he heading back to the coastal town?
No, he's heading back to Nazul. He's actually heading back to the market. Nazul is a dwarven trade city,
Oh, gotcha.
and there's a market just outside the gates, and that's where he's going to now.
Gotcha.
So he's gonna disappear this morning, sort of today. He might hang around till midday at the most, but he'll be gone by then. He
he'll head off.
explains
Okay.
to you.
I wonder to
And,
myself in my head, not out loud, I wonder if
Of course.
he informed these caravan guards what happened to his last caravan guards.
Yeah.
Parkland seems pretty open, and they were there at Haran Port when you arrived, all three of
Gotcha.
them.
Yeah, he's
So they at least
good.
knew he had dead people.
Awesome.
So
That's
anyway,
yeah, what the?
yeah.
Now, is there anything that we need to ask Parthon while he's in town? Because we may not see him again for a while.
I don't think so. You asked about a weapon, maybe?
Should we ask him about the weapon?
I don't know. Just maybe in passing, be like, "Hey, Peter."
Because he might. He seems to know of these things.
Oh, where Cavale is.
Yeah, just chuck it. Oh yeah, so just so you remember, you want to see Robin, you need to urgently get to Cavale once you've seen Robin, and he's just sort of waylaid you because he promised he'd give you some work, but because he's got to go early, he's letting you know. So you can meet him back there later, but you kind of need to speak to him quickly, see Robin, get your reward, and then go to Cavale.
Okay,
Sweet.
I'll just pop that on there. Parthon, what can you tell us of this two-handed axe?
Oh, look at this fella! Oh, quite the
He said that
quite
while
the
staring
sharp.
directly at Eduardo.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
blush.
Quite the insignia, this one, and he rolls his finger across the wolf's head. And he goes, He taps it twice, and the eyes light up.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So
And
he's
he
very
gets
familiar
a
with this.
spark of electricity. He goes, "Ooh, I know who made this."
Oh, he knows he made it.
Interesting.
Parthon, we're very excited to hear news of this double axe.
Before I say anything else,
Ooh.
how did you come upon this weapon?
Well, this was part of our mutual friend's stash.
He turns a little, like a sort of a dark shade of red. Almost a rage fills him, and he grits his teeth. You haven't seen Parthon like this.
Yeah.
And he sort of growls and goes,
I wanted to be honest with him because of his power.
Yes. Smart choice.
and he goes, I must borrow this.
Oh, that seems like a non-optional borrow.
Well,
Very well.
He goes, compensation for the time being.
another marlin.
We're gonna get some cash.
I want a swordfish. Hey, just quickly, side note. I swung the camera around just to see what was behind those barrels. Do you want to have a quick look? Have a quick look behind the barrels there?
I will have a glance.
Oh, what's that? What's that little guy? Hmm.
Oh! I don't see anything, Eduardo. What did you see?
There may or may not be one of those in every level since we started it, and this is the first time someone's noticed.
Oh my
Shit.
god, oh my god. I'm so glad that Andrew's here
This
today.
got us so hard. Holy
Andrew, I don't know about you, but I saw nothing. I saw nothing.
man, Jesus.
Well, there's nothing there right now.
That
Anyway.
was amazing.
No comment.
Yeah.
Back to the story.
Right.
Comment.
The whole chat agrees there's
Parthon-
nothing there.
I bet they would.
Parthon says, yes, here's my son has been dealing with
Oh.
some rather less than reputable people. And he goes, thank you for bringing this to my attention. And this is very, you haven't seen this side of Parthon.
Seems
He's
very
had
serious.
dead bodies raining around him. He's had things coming at him. He's never seen upset.
Hmm.
So,
I guess blood relation doing something untoward.
Yeah.
Can we
He sort
try
of-
and, I'm going to try and do
Yeah,
a
go.
persuasion check.
Oh, shit.
Well, because I'm very persuasive.
Are you also his son? Is that what you're going to say?
No.
Good.
you're a close relative or...
Close relative or friend. Parthon, please tell us more about what's going on. Maybe we can help you. I persuasively say.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so that is he likes you and you have a very good bonus on it. So you're going to have to, unless you roll piss poor.
Oh, it's happened before.
Yeah. Also, a quick side note to mention, I'm glad how's the moving towns? Oh, almost a crit success. Well done.
There you go.
Son of a
So
bitch.
what exactly
well
did you want from him? It was you want to know more about his son, yeah?
So I want to know more about sort of like why it's upset him so much, and yeah, a little bit more about his son.
I cut ties with Olaf for a reason,
Oh,
Okay.
and my son. You remember how he said he didn't do business with him anymore?
that's right.
Yep.
And they're like, yep. And my son should know better than to deal with him
Interesting.
behind my back.
So he must know this double axe from maybe it's his son's double axe, perhaps.
He
Gotcha.
thinks that just because he runs the markets of Nazul,
Oh, okay.
he can treat his father like that. And then kind of realizes he's overspoken. He spoke a little too much, and he sort of quiets down and he goes, "Thank you for this. Meet me in Nazul when you're free.
Absolutely.
You'd best be on your way. It's
Sure.
getting,
It's getting.
doesn't matter. It
Morning.
just says best to go. Yeah, I was gonna say getting late.
It's getting late.
I
in the
realized it was
morning.
3:30 in the morning. Okay, he points to a backpack. He says, "Take any of the stuff out of the backpack you want.
Gotcha. Eduardo probably already
Should be
has.
it's some recipes for the road. Should
Oh,
keep you
gotcha.
stocked up."
Perfect.
Lovely.
Thank you, Parthon. Travel well. Be
Pleasure as
safe.
always.
Goodbye, friends.
Let's have a look at this backpack. I wonder if it's going to be empty.
And I bow politely to his compatriots.
Ooh.
The only way I know how to do that is
Oh, there's some good books here.
like.
And they nod back.
Okay, cool.
Alright, I'm going to read these books.
Oh yeah, give me a recipe.
It's going to teach me stuff, and then I'm going to send it back to you. It's going to teach me
I
stuff.
get the
believe
recipes as
you-
well.
Oh, you get them as well?
Yeah, if you press H, you'll open up your recipe menu.
Oh, okay. I had no idea about that.
Ooh,
There's more appearing as I'm going through.
I can make 3 types of shiv.
Oh, I can make a holy hand grenade now. That could be very useful. Okay, let's go read through these.
Hand grenade.
Can make a oil flask.
Terror grenade.
Oh, I tried to read one of them and it was unreadable. I'll send it to you, see if you can read it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I like the sound of that.
Oh, I can make leather scraps. Don't you know?
You just like get someone's clothes and tear them up and be like, look what I made. Leather scraps.
Leather scraps.
Oh my God.
One guy's like,
Press.
check out this armor I made. I made some scraps, guys. We can make a long branch.
Finally.
How do we make a long branch?
Yeah, it takes a few years. And
Is
a
it just
seed.
literally?
Well, it'll tell you the ingredients you need, and you can learn from there.
I think, like, you should just like find a tree.
That's cool. You need logs and any cutting tool.
Oh, it's fun.
That's
So
Yeah.
it actually does make
So
sense.
you craft a branch out of the yeah. And you actually only make one type of shiv. You just have 3 recipes to make a shiv.
I got it. That's so cool.
So you have 3 different options to make a shiv.
Oh, interesting. That seems very Eduardo-esque.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like any which way to make a shiv, please.
Back from his
And
time in
make
prison.
and having a shiv in your inventory counts as a cutting tool.
Interesting. So that could be
So
useful.
if you need a cutting tool for any recipe, the shiv counts.
So the only thing I can actually make at the moment is these potions, but I'll leave that for now.
Gotcha. Oh,
Yep.
cool. So I can make a cooking station. All I need is a cooking pot, which I've got, and a fire.
Yes. I believe I referenced that the last time you were in there. All right.
Okay.
Listen real good. Okay.
So we're ready to go see Robin for your reward.
Yes.
See, senor.
Let's go.
Not a problem.
Into the tavern to get some rewards.
Let's go get crunk.
So you walk straight through the hen house, straight up the steps. Mella waves, you wave. She's counting today as a as one of your days staying.
Sweet.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
There's a new character in town.
What's that? Oh,
Okay, let's go.
I work fast.
Let's
interesting.
go. Proceed. He does work fast.
All right.
Oliver Twizzy appears to be sitting in front,
Oh,
front
that's
of us.
interesting.
Yes, it's just a traveling man.
Hope he makes it to his destination.
Didn't get made at 7:59. Okay, so
That's
you walk in and you make yourselves at home as you are guests of the inn, and Robin and Lauren are chatting away, and they notice you sit down and they bid you hello.
Greetings.
Good evening.
It's morning.
Good evening. I say it. Halfway through saying it, I realised this morning and it's
Roll,
like,
roll a persuasion check.
yeah, like look outside, like wow,
See
got
if,
late
see
quick.
if you can convince me it's not time, Baz.
Can I?
Yeah, try.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's go.
Since you said it twice.
They both walk off because I had lots of stuff to do.
They're not done. That was pretty high though.
close.
Wow, roll 18. Pretty close.
Had
They
that
all
been-
check their
had that
sundials
been-
real quick.
Had that been 20 plus, no, they literally just let the light flow in from the window right next to them.
Right next to them.
Yeah.
He's like, wow,
It's
bright,
about-
bright night we're having.
Weird.
It's about 5 in the morning now. After all the stuff you were doing and checking it's about 5:30.
Awesome.
Robin says, "So, how goes the farm?"
The farm has been dealt with.
Very well. Let's see you've. Oh, why? Thank you.
We're setting everyone up with a meal.
I hope it wasn't too much trouble.
That was
It was a little more work than we anticipated, but nothing that we can't handle. I say with
I
a bit of
accidentally grabbed
smugness.
something different. Whoops.
Okay, well, I know Anne left to go check on you. Is she all right? Everything fine?
Anne awfully conveniently showed up just as we needed her.
She absolutely did.
And she was very helpful. And
Yeah,
she's moved into to the farm to help clear it out.
Yeah, she has a knack for that.
Yep, she's very good at moving into
Okay.
farms.
Well, I believe I offered you both $1,000 reward.
I remember 1,250.
Do you?
I say persuasively.
You wouldn't be trying to. You wouldn't be trying to shyst me, would you?
Never.
As you roll a perception check right now, the two of you.
Okay.
What? Hot damn! Oh yeah!
yes.
You see a a War Owl's note on the table. Remember when Liam said he was going to send a War Owl to
yes.
let them know what was going on?
Oh,
It only took a few hours to get there, whereas you took about a day.
I gotcha.
So she has Anne saying, remember, letting them know just to pay you 500 gold each.
That's
Because
right.
you renegotiated, remember?
Hey.
So you can try and bluff her.
So, well,
But,
well, maybe we'll just lean into the joke. 1,250. What I meant to say was 500. Though we will accept 750 and encourage it.
Well, yeah, she says, okay, 750.
Oh, yes.
She goes, fine, 750. You've been very helpful. Just don't push it.
I just smile the whole
She
time.
says, yeah, you're just quietly. She wants to give you 800. No. Okay. So, all right. She rewards you 750 each
Cha-ching!
for the farm.
Aw.
She says, thank you very much. We couldn't have done without you. And we truly appreciate all of your assistance.
You were most welcome.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
It felt good to be of service. There we go. Finally set the table. I thought I'd finally set the table.
I like how the whole conversation is just running around, like moving everyone's foods and
I'm
plates
done.
to
I'm done.
different
Yeah, no,
positions,
so
like-
many things. If anyone was even slightly jittery, I was just going to have everything rolling. But all right. Lauren says, "Oh, well, it's nice to see you doing some good in the town.
Oh, good. That's,
It seems to be seems to be genuine
We try.
because obviously your first meeting wasn't great.
That is true. I don't know.
That's a
She
piece
lets you know. Lauren sort of says to you, she goes, I might have some work for you.
Oh,
Ooh.
I immediately
And,
stand up and sit next to her. Go on.
My daughter, or unfortunately, what remains of my daughter,
Oh dear.
I know.
is with the Utara, and we have to have the body transported back here to be buried. Would you retrieve the coffin for us? We will pay you.
I look at Eduardo to see if he's interested.
I somberly look up and I was going to say and smile. No. I nod. With a deep, consoling nod. Of course we'll help.
Of course we'll help, and we appreciate that you trust this very personal... I can't remember what I want to say.
Task?
Task to us.
I thought you were going to say menial.
Yeah, so
No, it's very
all right.
personal.
She nods. She nods,
Because you couldn't ask just anyone else
and
to do that.
No, not at all.
and she passes you. I basically, it seems that she's run out of options because Parthen's gone, everyone's gone. You know, everyone's
I feel less honoured.
Wow, thanks.
She says, "Okay, we'll pay you 250 apiece once you return. That's all we can manage at the moment."
I don't try and bargain for this particular one.
Yeah, I try.
Okay, good.
It seems insincere.
So,
Oops, I didn't do that. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
All right.
I've replaced it.
Here's your buyback.
okay. She appreciates you trying to make sure she eats, but grief has not given her a lack of hunger. So,
Well, if
you guys want to definitely need to see Curveil now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, unless you want to investigate the up area here, then we'll move along.
Okay.
Let's have a quick glance around.
Yeah, for sure.
This
Our
is-
sincerest condolences, and thank you again for the entrusting this task with us. Anyone going to use this
Thank you.
basket back here?
Feel free to have it.
Thank you.
Oh wait, no, wait. Anything but furnishings you can take. So any food, anything, but not furnishings.
Okay.
That was the house rule.
No worries.
Very well.
Straight on. Put a lid on this pot.
Just waiting for you to just like take a table.
Thanks, yeah. I'll eat
The piano flies off the floor.
Yeah. Oh, I found a healing potion.
Have I got any potatoes? Because we can cook some stuff real quick if you're hungry.
What are you cooking some eggs? Are you making dinner?
Making dinner.
I already have 10 dinners.
Sorry. Friggin' Mr. Dinner over here.
I accidentally used a kitchen pot.
There's. What do you mean you accidentally used the kitchen? I accidentally sneak. Whoops. H is for. Okay. H is for things.
H
to
is for
cook.
Harry. I'm ready to go when you are.
Alright, I can cook dinners for days. If you give me a potato, I can make a boiled potato. If you give me fries, I can give you fries. You got fries?
Got
I
fries?
got fries.
I do not have a potato, unfortunately, good sir.
I am disappointed at your lack of potatoes.
I have quite a bit of money, though. Perhaps we should go shopping after we speak to Cavale.
Perhaps. We should
Shopping
go
spree!
Oh my god, let's
Okay.
go crazy. Alright,
we're
let's
ready
get
to
out of
go.
here.
So we're off. Alrighty. Alright, you know
Thanks,
that
Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Cavale has been staying at Ferdinand's while he's in town, so you're off to the surgery.
Off to the surgery.
Alright.
Skipping the town, straight to the surgery, very fast little legs.
That's the walking
That's
noise.
the loading screen music.
That's yeah. Just be careful. Someone's going to use that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they will. Okay. Oh no.
Oh.
You enter the surgery and you're almost overcome with the stench of iodine and alcohol. You hear tinkering from the operating theatre and an exceptionally loud giggling from the fireplace. Do you investigate the operating theatre or check out the giggling?
I want to check out the giggling because I've never seen a sentient fireplace laughing before.
Yes. That's not the reason I was going to investigate, but I absolutely want to investigate the giggling. Edward was a good
Okay.
joke, so he's just like, I want to know. What is this?
Right,
You
so
you
just
start
walk
laughing
out.
like you're part of the joke.
Yeah.
Just walk straight down the hallway and turn left.
Alright, let's ramshackle this place.
As you pass the surgery, you see Cavale's in there, but that's all you notice.
Boring.
All right. As you turn the corner, you see Ferdinand and Lomas
Oh, Lomas!
Ah.
drunkenly slumped in front of the fireplace.
Lomas is okay.
Oh well, okay. It wouldn't exactly be accurate, but he's alive. As you can see, he's missing. He's missing an eye.
He is missing an
Wow.
eye. Look at him.
He's also extremely hairy on his forearms.
Yeah, that's dwarves for you.
Gee, astute.
Look at his feet too.
If you have, like arm and feet beards, that's pretty impressive.
I love how his feet
Yeah,
don't reach the
absolutely.
floor.
So do the women in some cases, but let's not get into that.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, so they're sort of just giggling away and half unconscious with each other. They're sort of dozing in and out of it. You know, typical heavily drunk. But you know,
You
Boys,
proceed how
boys,
you.
boys.
That's my idea.
They kind of like Lomas is like, "Who are you?"
Did he actually say that?
Ooh.
Yep, that's what he said.
Well, he doesn't know it.
No, he doesn't.
We are friends of Parthon. Can actually say that now.
Yeah, we actually are friends.
Everyone's person's friend.
We helped him try and locate you and track you down. Everyone was very worried about you.
Oh, that's nice.
Gurgle burp.
That's right. There we go. Oh,
What'd you just do?
getting a bit close to him. I just want to stand on the outside and be part of the conversation.
Eduardo, as you wandered
Oh, no.
towards the door frame, you noticed that Ferdinand's bedroom / office was open and ready for the pilfering.
Oh no.
That's
The
just something you
Dungeon
noticed.
Master's encouraging you.
Not encouraging, he's just what he noticed. I rolled a roll, he passed it. Ferdinand sort of rolls his head forward and he goes, "What are you doing back here?" "I'll let you at the front door."
Yes.
Well,
No.
okay then.
Oh, good.
Grab a drink. Warm your feet.
That's right. Lomas is definitely warming his feet. His feet are like aimed directly at the fire.
Yeah, feet straight out.
We warm our feet on the fire briefly. Now, who are we here to see? We are here to see.
You were here to see
Cavale.
Cavale, but you just heard these two
Having a
drunkenly.
giggle. Did we overhear what they were laughing about, or were they just drunk?
No, nothing specific. They were just sort of poking each other and laughing, and it appears that Ferdinand has. Oh, actually, make a perception roll.
Uh-oh.
Let's,
Here we go.
All right, what do we see? Not much, by the looks of it.
Plenty.
Oh, far out.
Winston, you notice it's apparent that he has been crying,
Oh.
and looks very hungry. Put it that way. He appears to have been drinking heavily and not eating or anything of that nature. And he's probably been on a bender based on when you arrived in town, maybe 6 days.
Wow.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, I mean, he
has
a pretty tough run of it.
He has.
I'm going to put some dinner out for him and see if he eats it.
That's a nice looking dinner.
I thought I did well. I did actually make it myself. Ferdinand,
Yeah.
you look weary. I insist you have some food.
Before you even say anything, he nibbles at the end of the sausage, very gingerly.
Hello.
I feel something stirring.
Eduardo's like, I hope this doesn't affect something within me.
Yeah.
And he pops the plate on the floor. And says, don't mess up my notes.
Yeah,
and he
so
points
the
at a
dad
letter
Ooh.
on a thing.
Can I, from where I'm sitting, because I'm sitting quite close to him, can I sort of get a glimpse of what he's been writing?
I also lean over his shoulder in an attempt to be friendly, but I also peer at the
nice.
letter.
I like that. It's a good idea. Get right nice and close.
Okay, perception. Go
Don't
for it, my
forget
boy.
to eat. Yeah. Don't forget to eat. I must still be distracted
Okay.
knowing I can get into
So-
his room.
Eduardo just starts gets a bit too into it and just starts like rubbing Ferdinand's shoulders. But Ferdinand is receptive, but Eduardo also fails to notice anything. However, Chris, you notice that the letter itself is on very ornate
Interesting.
stationery, and it looks old, 6 months, maybe a year. It's not fresh. And you see, to my love, Ferdinand near the bottom, as it's bled through on the other side.
Interesting. So this was definitely written to him a while ago, and
Yeah.
something that he's pulling out. I'm assuming it's from.
Someone who's
Yep.
no longer with us.
And also, Andrew
Yes.
was saying, put Eduardo on one of those toddler leashes, Winston.
I run away.
Okay, well, I'm not going to disturb that letter, I don't think.
All right. I am going to just quickly, just so you guys know, I say quietly to be in between Ferdinand and Winston, I'm going to go take a tinkle, and then I walk off towards the left hand side,
Oh, no.
and then I walk even more quietly to the right hand side
Oh, no.
to try and
Okay.
make sure the drunks don't
That's
hear me
going to
going
definitely
towards.
involve some rolls.
I'm making them, and unless you fail something or they get some exceptional, I'll let you know. Just rolls are happening in the background.
I'm taking the camera to follow Eduardo.
Just quickly, I'm checking everything. I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him, and I'm very, very weak.
You don't trust Ferdinand?
No, I don't trust Cavail.
Oh, Cavail. Is this Cavail's room?
I think so.
There's some...
No, this is Ferdinand's bedroom.
Oh,
Cavail's sleeping on the couch, basically.
where he deserves to be.
There's some nice gloves in front of you.
Yeah.
I don't notice because I'm not there.
All right, I'm just rolling like a perception check to see if there's anything like untoward. I doubt it being Ferdinand, but again, you can never.
You just perception. I assume based on that, you also want to do an investigation roll
Correct, please. Thank you.
based on your exact wording.
I'm very eloquent with my roll checks.
Okay, there's another investigation. Okay, so all right, so you did very well on the first one. The perception check. You don't see anything strange. However, you notice 3 things: the custom gloves
Yes.
on the dresser.
That shit's custom.
They are
Spinners.
engraved
Oh, they are engraved.
with Evelyn's
Oh, no.
initials.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
You also notice his desk. The drawer is slightly ajar, and you see a few things. You see what appears to be a journal that is quite old, some sterilized medical equipment, a key,
Hmm.
and a very sharp-looking blade.
Ooh.
Scalpel.
Now, you may investigate the desk if you want, but yeah, just a few things that you noticed sitting in the open drawer.
The DM giving you a little cheeky hint.
A little bit of guidance there. All right, I pick up the gloves and have a look at them. So,
Oh, buddy.
i.e., are they worth stealing? They're pretty good.
Where are they?
Oh,
Just so I can see them.
yeah.
He's put it
Put
there.
them on the screen, yeah.
Look, from what you can tell, they look like they're pretty high quality.
Hmm. It's an anniversary
and
gift.
good for someone running a wagon, sort of doing heavy lifting and manning tires and things like that. As you know, they're all wooden tires, they're wooden metal, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Rubbing 1,000-year-old spiders' bellies, that sort of thing. It's perfect life for those. Sort of line of work that Evelyn was in.
Gotcha.
Eduardo.
I conscientiously put them back on the desk.
Oh, good. He does have a heart.
They weren't good enough stats for Eduardo to justify breaking this man's heart, so
Absolutely.
I look at myself in the mirror quickly and just reassure myself I'm a good boy.
Who's a good boy?
It's quite a sight.
Before I get to the big old bustling desk over here, which I know is going to be quite nice to look at, I'll just have a quick look in this. Well, he literally has no... sorry. No style preference whatsoever. I want to see what type of fashion sense he had, which is 0. And I think that's it. Everything else... Why the hell... Why is there... Oh.
You notice a loot.
Yes.
A loot on the table. That looks like it's well worn, but has gathered dust recently.
Maybe that's when he wears his clothes.
Shove it up in you. Okay. Can I see anything on it? Like anything
Nope.
about it that's interesting? No.
Nothing interesting, just well worn.
I think
Gotcha.
you would... Well, I can't talk because I'm not here.
Okay. All right. I sit down at the desk. No, I don't. Stuff that. I'm gonna walk over. I still don't trust it. Whoa.
Why don't you trust things? It doesn't make sense. Ferdinand's been battered with bad news.
Oh no, I'm Eduardo, so I just I just keep my mind sharp.
Yeah, role playing important. Role playing important.
Are you checking the thing?
Yeah, I opened up the desk to have a look. Ooh.
What do you got there, fella?
Some pretty good things. I've got a journal. I've got a sterilized needle and thread. A sterilization unit key. And a scalpel, which is like 31 to 50 fire damage.
Ooh. Is that like a lot stronger than what you have now?
Yes, by quite some amount.
Scalpel!
Scalpel. I take the key. I really want to take that scalpel.
Take it. Well, I'm not there. Also,
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell you to take it.
Yeah, exactly. My guts tell me not to, but I take it anyway.
You better remember that I've got to be here. I'm having a chat while you're doing that.
Okay, I'm trying to make it quick. I quickly flipped through the journal that was inside his desk.
Okay, so
You activate the
you
trap.
go through the journal. Yeah.
It's too late. The book
Okay,
consumes
journal. Okay, so it appears to be quite old and untouched for many years, or at least a year or two, right? It details his time at medical school in Guelph, including the loss of his wife and 3 children to an outbreak of notoriously deadly Zis influenza. His brother persuaded him to move to Balar because he feared if they stayed in Guelph, Ferdinand would be found hanging from the rafters.
It's very cool.
It also details the strong feelings of guilt and hesitance he had when entering into a relationship with Evelyn. So it appears they have been lovers for quite some time, and he has been conflicted about moving on to someone, even though it's been probably 10 or 12 years since the death of his wife.
Poor dude. He has been having a rough trot, hasn't he?
You come back?
I'm putting the journal back into the desk.
That's probably a good call.
And I read the book that was on the desk as well.
Oh, it's just a surgical log about Lomas.
Okay. Did I find anything fun about his about how well equipped he is?
He has an oddly long penis, but not a very thick one. It's an oddly long penis for a dwarf.
I knew it.
Long,
It's like a fire hose. Yeah. It's,
I knew it.
That's why he's so tired all the time.
Exactly.
It's
He's
like
dragging that
blood
thing
to
along
run
the
that
combat.
beast.
It appears to be quite worn on the edges and the sides, as if it was been used as a whip of some sort in desperate times. Anyway. Okay. So, as you're wandering over to Winston, as he's still engaged in futile drunken conversation, you hear a snap in the back of your head, and you hear, "Youngling, keep your nose out of the boy's business."
Oh, who said that? Who said? Wait, was it both of us that heard that, or just Eduardo?
Just Eduardo, sorry.
Okay, sorry. You react appropriately.
I scratch the back of my head and look slightly perturbed.
It's things that I want to ask you to do, but I can't because it's...
He just says, "Come to the operating theater. Don't bring the ashen one."
Am I the ashen one?
Eduardo gets the feeling that it is Winston who's the ashen one.
Yeah.
I'll just chill here by the fire. That's fine.
Interesting.
You don't know anything that's happened.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling.
Just the only reason I haven't got you to take your headphones off is because you're controlling the camera.
I whisper to
Eduardo,
myself and say the ashen one in a questioning tone, and then I look at the guys desperately and say, "I need a poo," and then just run off.
You can't
great
things.
cover.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
I love how both times you've said you need to use the loo, you've gone two different directions, none of which has a toilet.
I'm trying to find some alcohol I can drink while I wait.
Perfect.
Okay. Enter the operating theatre.
Okay,
or if you wish. So you don't have to. But.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Cavale tells you to stop right where you are. It's the same voice you heard before.
I try to swing around to look at him, but it doesn't work.
Youngling, why do you travel with the Ashen One?
I don't understand what you mean. Ashen One?
You know what I mean.
Well, the only one I travel with is Winston.
Why do you travel with the Ashen One?
Well, the Ashen One is Winston. I travel with him for monetary gain, mainly.
Oh.
You got to think it's
Sort
a
of
white. It's
curls.
just all about it.
Sort of curls his lip.
He's not even my friend. I don't know. I feel a shiver in the other room. I also feel sad.
Oh.
He points to the operating table. He says, "Have you seen one of these?"
I look at him and say, "May I?" And
Go forth.
I was going to say stuff, and I walk forward anyway. I run a memory check. I can't remember seeing one, but
Every time we run a memory check, all I can think of is like Mem64.
mem check.
I'm testing my RAM.
Yeah.
How's my RAM going? Pretty good.
I think the camera can be fixed for a little while. Yeah, I might take my headphones off.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you absolutely recognize this type of beast. You'd seen them before in your tropical island home. And they are undead. And they are capable of some pretty serious harm to anyone that comes around them. And they appear to be the thing that the ominous fangs have been pulled from.
Oh, okay.
As I remember correctly, you were the one that identified the ominous fang last time, as further knowledge you had from your tropical home.
Yes, yeah, I do believe so.
Cavale walks over quietly behind you. You don't notice. You don't notice him at all.
Okay.
And he just puts his hand on the back of your neck. Your eyes roll into the back of your head. You feel a sharp pain. And you feel your skin burning. Like, as if you've been lit on fire.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And you just sort of feel the hand just saying steady. It's not doing. And you sort of, as the pain subsides a little bit, you see ash falling from the sky. And you feel yourself slowly dissolving from the outer limbs inward.
Oh, God.
And then you snap out of it and he lets go of you. That is what the Ashen One brings.
How? Why? No. Him? No.
He carries the stain of a mother tree burnt alive.
Does he know? Did he mean to do what? How? What?
Does not matter. He witnessed it, whether he knows it or not.
Okay, Eduardo's mind's blowing a little bit. It's just like reeling from whatever he's experienced. But what do we do? What happens now?
If it were up to me, I'd kill the boy. But Ferdinand and Partha seek his assistance. And as respect to them, I cannot murder him.
Do they know?
They committed the greatest... They don't. He committed the greatest sin one can upon an elf. He burnt our past and our future.
So just
And he just kind of walks away.
Yeah.
He just kind of walks away.
So do I know what he's talking about when he references that?
Okay. He also seems to you got a feeling when you let go of like sort of when you go, how can you not know this shit sort of attitude, right? Like how can people not know certain things about their own culture and things like that? So it's clear that he's become aware that you are not a traditional elf.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get you to run a few checks here.
Sure. This is very interesting.
Okay, and I'll get you to roll one of these as well. Okay, and I'll get you to roll one of these as well. Okay.
Oh.
So you remember a few things, very specific things, that a mother tree is the way elves don't reproduce like humans. Right?
Okay, yep.
They don't have they have relationships and things like that, but they don't have children, they don't bear live young. You are born from trees.
Oh.
Right? You sort of sprout out of a bulb.
Okay.
So two powerful elves come together, and they fuse to make a tree in their dying breaths.
Oh.
And you are grown from that tree, and it is tended to by, like, all elven cities have a major mother tree that is tended by everyone.
Okay, yep.
When they are destroyed, it is an incredible crime. It's unbelievable. Like, elves will wipe out entire family lines for it.
I can imagine.
And the burning of them creates death fog.
Oh.
It's one of the ways, because it's a corruption of the purest form of creation.
Gotcha, yep.
All right. Chris can put his stuff back on. That's what you remember.
You can put your stuff back on.
You don't know if Chris knows he was involved in it, how he was involved in it, but based on the questions from last time, he probably doesn't know. Okay, it's all good. Yep.
All right, good to go now.
Jeez, I sure love sitting by this fire and having drinks with my friends.
Cavail says to Eduardo, call your friend.
Uh-oh.
All right. I don't say anything to him. I just walk out of the room.
Ring, ring.
Yep.
I walk out of the room. There we are. And I walk straight up to Winston and tap him on the shoulder from behind.
And I stand up and follow him instinctively.
I just like motion to follow me. Yeah, pop.
All right. Winston, roll a constitution check for me.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
What have you done?
I grabbed a plate.
Ooh.
Got it. There we go.
You feel sort of like a lurching in your stomach. Like, yeah, like you're about to shit and throw up at the same time.
Okay.
Imagine being hitting the balls really hard.
Yep.
That's what it feels like. But you resist. Sort of you wince for a moment.
That's how fucking constitutional I am.
Cavale sort of winces as if he had expected something from you as you entered. As you touch the plate, he flings it across the room. Oh. He flung the wrong thing across the room. Okay, imagine there's still a corpse there.
Oops.
I don't have an undo. Okay, so
because I noticed the barrel moved the plate incorrectly, so I was trying to move it.
That's fine. It's all
stand
good.
in for the corpse.
Yep, stand in for the corpse. Okay, so he examines. He holds the corpse. He holds the corpse out, and he says, "This is the culprit, giving the wolves their animosity towards all who pass through the woods." And he points to the table to his left, and there's several ominous fangs have all been removed from that creature. They look too big to fit in the creature, but actually the head is basically a fang repository. There's no brain. It's just fangs. So when it opens its mouth, dozens of these fangs come out and can rend, could cut a horse in half.
Jesus.
Oh, damn.
So he says, the Utara, with disdain, says, seek assistance in ensuring these things are destroyed. And they have called for help. I have no business with them, nor will I have business with them, but you may seek it.
Interesting.
And he basically just explains that it's an undead creature, and they are pretty much always associated with powerful undead. They're raised from corpses that are in the presence of extremely powerful undead presences. Which terrible sentence there.
Understands, even through the grammar.
Okay, yes, my apologies. Okay, the both of you need to make perception checks.
Hold on, that corpse is a plate.
I was about to make the same joke. Wait a second.
Cavale seems to be spinning one of his fingers between his thumbs, sort of like rubbing it. And you see behind you there is a very interesting looking staff that is definitely not of elven design.
Interesting.
Make memory. Yeah, he can make these for me.
Ooh, as usual.
Yep. Okay. Eduardo has seen this before. This design. It was all over a certain relative of his home.
In his face, in his back.
His uncle Pineapple. He remembers the name. His uncle Pineapple had a staff just like this one, and it was something that his people were quite well known for crafting. And Winston recognizes the weapon immediately as a Zis weapon. It is a staff crafted by the Zis, basically sworn enemies of the elves.
Interesting.
Right, no one hates the Zis more than the elves, not even the dwarves. And you see an inscription. Let's see if the two of you...
When I see it in Rails, it was from my uncle. Like, that brought back memories. I'm like, oof, Unky Napple.
Okay.
Just instinctively.
You recognize
very strongly.
Immediately. You remember days past in the tower with your wizard teacher, and you know that Tissor means enemy or unknown, and Valisseur, which is the second word, means parry or to turn the tide or turn the tables.
Interesting.
And the combined words mean something along the line to turn the enemy's own hand against. Depends on the dialect of elf you speak.
That's very interesting.
Cavale, you don't know what he speaks exactly, but
I like how
It's,
I had a better understanding of the elfin language than you did.
You're like, oh, these words, they mean so much. I'm like,
Well,
goodbye.
I
as
studied
we
well,
know,
I studied well in school.
Eduardo is not the traditional elf. He didn't live amongst elves, and he was
He's a
raised
simple
by a
folk.
certain uncle. He was raised by Uncle Pineapple. He knows many things about many creatures, as clearly apparent. Exotic animals are his thing, and seafaring and tropical affairs, but he was not raised by elves.
Very well.
I'm special.
Cavale sort of turns away and he says, the Atara will need you soon. And just sort of just walks away. Just stays as vague as possible.
Super vague. I know from talking to him before that he's very hard to persuade to talk. So... Oh.
Oh dear.
I don't know what I was rolling for, but I did poorly.
Okay, so Eduardo, you notice that the laboratory gear over across the room appears to be synthesizing the blood of that creature.
Okay.
Synthesizing, purifying, you're not 100% sure, but it's doing something with the blood of the creature.
Gotcha. All right, I've got an idea. I place the key that I picked up in Ferdinand's office for the sterilization unit
Are you letting me know what you're doing?
on the ground. No,
Because you haven't so far.
I motion to you and then the cabinet, and then I make eye watch me, and then I walk off towards the towards Cavale and start speaking. I say,
This was a fly, sorry.
good catch. Cavale, what can you tell me of this staff?
While he does that, I pick up the key
And
stealthily
I try and stand in front of him so he does not have to turn around.
and I unlock the sterilization unit.
Feel a sharp pain in your wrist.
I do.
Yes. Cavale turns it around. What are you doing?
Oh, Eduardo, why'd you put me in this situation? He doesn't like me already.
Cavale, where are you going?
Answer!
Oof.
I was handed a key. That's literally what happened.
That was... Cavale, stop this. It was me. Out of character, this did not go according to plan.
I can see that.
I picked up
I
the
would
key.
normally...
Sorry.
Well, you better be...
Normally I would not harm one of my own.
Oh.
You have proven your allegiance to the Ashen One.
Uh-oh.
Leave!
Oh, shit. Should we take some blessed
I
advocates on our way out? I think it's time for us to go.
I would walk out, but that's up to you.
I leave because I
Yeah.
know of our dealings with him before.
I give him a glare, and as I walk, I say to him, I'll tell him everything you told me as I walk out.
That seems like
You hear under his breath, Kova Given Vilas. That's all you hear. You don't feel comforted by those words.
I peek my head back through the door and just look at him for a sec. Huh? And I walk off.
He ignores you.
You're the worst. Should we get out of this place?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's.
Alright, so do you want to go investigate the Utara?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, please.
Wait, where are we going?
To the Otara.
So basically, they need you.
Back into
And
the dance.
well, this is where Evelyn's body is, and Ferdinand was asked to speak to you, but obviously Cavale gave you the message because Ferdinand was absolutely trashed. Yeah, okay, so as you enter, the sunlight hits your face, and you feel a lovely warm breeze. The area has certainly cleared up since the last time you were here. And down the path, you hear a familiar voice. It is the lead scout from earlier.
Huh. Hey, buddy.
She now has a name.
She waves to you, beckons you to come down.
Penelope.
No. No, Eduardo, did you... I'm going to start walking.
Uh-huh. Walk slowly with me, I say. I should have told you this on the trip here. I don't know why I didn't.
Oh, let's assume that you did, and I'm...
Oh, yeah, I'll just
What do you need to tell me, though?
I spoke to Cavale, and he bore some confusing, but if true, dire news.
I'm not sure why you're not facing me. Look at me while you talk to me.
Winston,
You're basically a married couple now. It's great.
Yeah, I was gonna like Winston. I have to tell you something. I don't know if he'll let me say it.
What do you mean?
So keep an eye on me, okay?
Okay.
Just, sorry, I'm getting a bit antsy. Make sure I'm okay. I spoke to Gavale, and he spoke of what may be, even unbeknownst to you, your true nature.
What do you mean?
Did you hear him call you the Ashen One?
I did. I thought I'd washed up quite cleanly. I didn't understand what he meant.
To him, your body may be clean, but your soul may not.
I'm not the one who died walking into an undead pillar. I don't understand what you mean.
He spoke to me of a mother tree.
I've heard of a mother tree before. Yes, I have.
Tell me more.
I don't know that I can.
As you say it, I like stiffen up. I'm like, what do you know of mother trees?
What do I know of mother trees?
Ref.
You remember last time that you've seen one,
Recall. I have seen
and
one
you
before.
had the lushest, most verdant forests in the land on your noble land. You were the logging type. Your noble. You had minerals. You had logging. You're an incredibly wealthy family.
I never logged once myself, I swear.
Is that what you said?
You remember speaking to Alira last time and remembering that when you were a wee child, there was an enormous, horrific forest fire that you witnessed
Witness Bisbot.
from the towers, but you weren't necessarily involved in.
Yes. Okay. I have seen a tree before.
You've seen a tree?
I've seen a whole forest burn. I used to be surrounded by luscious trees.
I stiffen up. And I get even more confused about my sexual preferences. No.
Well, you had a very long conversation, so I'm interested in how much you'll disclose. Ooh.
Cool.
Winston, you noticed something shambling towards you from the bushes.
Oh.
It appears both of you make checks. Oh yeah. You both immediately recognize that this is the elf and his 3 wolves you killed.
Oh no!
No way!
They're undead.
He's a zombie now.
No.
They've been left long enough that they've matured into zombies.
This is what happens.
Hearing the word mature again stirs something within Eduardo. Alright. I just stabbed him to bones.
Eduardo's been very vague with what he found out. Hope he knows that I'm making this week's recap.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it. I thought, bugger it. It fits the story.
That's fair, that's fair.
I read the vile wolf.
It's your turn, Metric Dun.
Yeah. No, I know. Sometimes it's a bit...
Ouch.
I know it seems like an excuse, but it's a bit finicky running all... It doesn't tell me who I'm controlling at the time, so I have to manage... It's I'm running like everyone but you two.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so if I run a friend, I also run your enemies. So...
Oh, interesting. Alright.
Puppy down.
Wolf down, wolf down. What can I do here? He's got a little bit of physical illness. That was a waste of time. That's why I'll encourage us.
Oh, I'm determined.
I almost want to say we've killed you once, we'll kill you again, but but I will not.
Ah, he fell in the blood.
He fell over. Yeah, saw the wolves fall amongst me.
Before us, yes. Ooh.
Damn.
Oof. Oh, damn.
She seems to be rather adept in combat.
Yeah, really. Jesus. Wow. All right.
Oh, that'll do it. At least we didn't kill it.
Burning puppy down for good. And where's his backstab area? Oh, he's gone.
If it's
okay.
Yeah, if it's too far from a thing, I hit sometimes they are. If it's up against something, you can't get backstab sometimes.
Andrew's like, boo! We had no choice.
Okay.
Hit him once again.
She she beckons to you and says, "Oh, it's good to see you. I'm glad you've arrived. We could use some assistance."
We're here to help.
Okay, so she says,
Stop taking things.
earlier you helped my friends.
Pardon me.
You helped us by sending in reinforcements, and we've been able to get further reinforcements because of that and fortify the area. So she gives you quite the reward.
A handsome sum.
Because remember, they basically said that he'd give you money once he knew what was going on.
Yes.
So
I just realized we're kind of like the Power Rangers. She's red, I'm yellow, and you're blue.
Go, go! Thank you very much. Ooh, we level up.
Ooh, delish.
yep.
Alright.
So you level up on that. So if you guys want to do that now, and she'll just speak to you while you do that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Perfect. Thank you.
Our commander is here. At least the commander of this arm of the Tara. And we're making progress with that medic that suffered serious injuries while helping the dwarf.
Fantastic.
We also have a smith in the area, an archivist, and several reinforcements. So I don't know how much you'll be involved, but we do plan to move on Fort Harran soon.
Fantastic. Should
Awesome.
we assist with that?
I believe so. I think that will
Also,
be
our conversation was cut off. Don't think I've forgotten that.
I sort of gripped my teeth a little bit by accident. I'll say, of course. Shall we?
Okay. So she tells you when you're ready. She's just going to go off over to the archivist. She says, when you're ready, come to the front gate and they'll let you in.
Okay.
I'll start to walk off and I beckon to Winston.
Well, I'm still,
Beckon to Winston.
I'm still doing my thing. Ooh. So let's get into warfare. Give me some extra damage.
Oh, il damasio.
Okay, I come with you. Eduardo,
Yes,
we must continue our conversation.
walk with me. So I learned of what mother trees are and how people who destroy them tend to be quite bad. And someone believes that you may have been a part of the destruction of one of these mother trees.
Alright, I'm going to search my memories to see if I know what started that fire back in my childhood.
Maybe it was
Absolutely.
You see me stare past you.
Winston, come back to us.
I will in just a moment.
Perfect. Oh,
You have a flashback sort of moment to you smell this horribly acrid stench. It doesn't smell like a normal wood. It doesn't smell like cooking on a barbecue or having a pig on a spit or anything like that. It hits your nose and you feel nauseous and lightheaded. You remember seeing a group of your father's men go into the forest with a large explosive barrel. That's it.
Eduardo.
Yes.
I've just recalled something.
Tell me.
Maybe my family wasn't so innocent.
Oh.
But I swear that I had nothing to do with this.
According to Cavale, it does not matter. Even if you may not have taken part yourself, it still stains you and marks you as the Ashen One.
I'm remembering something else.
Back to me.
You were about 7 when this occurred. If you know for certain what it was, but you're around 7 when these memories are flying to you.
I was only 7 and 1. 7!
I tend a young age. Of course, it wasn't you who burned down the tree, but you were somehow tied and connected to it, and that's given you the mark of the Ashen One.
Just breaking character for a second. Winston shot the sheriff, but he did not kill the elder tree.
Was it Andrew? Was it
Andrew?
Yeah, well done.
So good. Okay, back to my...
You remember back to your wisdom days in the tower and your studies. As Eduardo's talking to you, you kind of drift off for a second, and you remember sort of the dichotomy of elven culture and the burning of an elven mother tree marks entire family lines.
Well, that's some straight up.
Any who, yeah, because it is such a heinous crime that even those who are born after the event are seen literally like they are covered in ash by elves. It is a biological marker. It's not.
Interesting.
So I can't say exactly why Eduardo may or may not see you in a certain light. He may not know what he's seeing, but all elves can see it on you, more or less.
Interesting. Is there any way to restore that, or that I know of?
Yeah, that's exactly what we were.
Has to be if I know of it. Ooh.
Far out, knowledge.
The only means you ever know of it is
Very
divine
studious.
intervention.
Interesting.
Okay.
Divine intervention is the only thing that has ever cleared one's name. And even then, it's rare, even for divine intervention.
Well, I did not know that I was afflicted with such a thing. Now it's the only thing I ever want to do is seek that divine intervention. The money doesn't matter anymore. I can't have a race of people hating me for something that I didn't do.
I thought he was just a racist elf, but he spoke of you as the Ashen One.
Yeah, but he seems to actually hate me. Why do you trust me, Eduardo? Why do you consider me your friend?
Strong words, Winston. I don't know you as anything different. I've never...
How long have we known each other?
You've known each other, you've been here about 10 days, 2 weeks, and you knew each other for it was about a 3-week journey with the delay, so you've known each other 5 weeks, and you seem to get along. But you didn't get too specific about your pasts. You were just kind of like... Eduardo talked a lot about a tropical island, and you sort of were enamored by the charming stories of a beautiful life on a tropical island with all these exotic beasts.
I can imagine. Well, we've kept them waiting, the tower waiting too long. We should follow Penelope.
We should, but if you need to know anything else, let me know.
Very well.
I'm warm.
I'm also warm.
Yes. All right. The guard on the left, you recognize immediately as the one you pissed off initially.
I take a wide berth.
Yes, keep moving.
Keep moving.
He,
Is it a boy?
are you saying that to him?
Oh no! I'll see it.
You seem to be lingering near him. He looks
Oh.
at you, gives you a look up and down.
Yeah, keep
Sort
going.
of doesn't say anything.
Remember, we
Might be a good
stole
idea.
From them. We stole from them. You better
Did
keep
we?
moving.
I just say I like
What
your
do you mean,
shield.
did we stole stacks from them.
I say
He
you
appears
can't-
to be the only. Oh, hold on. Make a perception check, the two of you.
Okay.
I actually do like your shield. Check it out.
It's a really cool shield.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, Winston, you instantly recognize that he's the only one without upgraded armor.
Wah, wah.
It appears
Luckily, I'm
you
not
can
wearing
put two
that
and two
armor
together
again.
that the gear you acquired and now have sold off
Yes.
through may have been his.
Luckily, we have sold it and we actually do not have it.
Oh, I'm such an asshole. I walked past like, nice shield. See you later. Enjoy your crap.
And he was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
poor
gonna
dude.
quickly investigate this pile here.
Yeah,
It looks
same
like
here.
they're cleansing animals.
I don't think it worked. They're all dead.
I think the fact that they're still dead is a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Winston, you just noticed that these appear to be the wolves that attacked the caravans,
Gotcha.
the wagons. And Eduardo, you are much more astute and realize that this is holy fire, and it appears to be cleansing all of the creatures involved in the attack that killed Evelyn and the subsequent attacks that occurred to you and the rest of the Utara.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I
Very
said it
well.
You
was
are
simple, they
beckoned.
took care of them.
Yeah, you are beckoned over by Penelope.
We've been beckoned.
Beckoned. Water barrel.
That's from the battle.
She introduces you to quite an old woman, still carrying partial plate.
Not bad.
Says this is our archivist. She's here administrating death rites and helping us plan the siege on Harren Port. The archivist sort of nods to you and continues humming over the coffin.
Ooh.
That's the coffin we've come to collect.
That's Evelyn's coffin. Yeah.
So what else did we have to do while we were here? Was it just that?
So get the girl. Dead girl. What? Ma'am.
She's healing.
And as she finishes, she turns to you and says, "Greetings.
Greetings.
Greetings and well met.
What brings you to my humble abode?"
We've come for Evelyn.
"Oh, yes, a tragic story." She points to a letter on the coffin and says she was carrying this. "Please ensure her loved ones get it."
May we?
Thank you.
Make sure your loved ones get it, but don't take it. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, ignore the stealing stuff. I know I can't fix that in the engine, not yet anyway.
That's fine.
Okay, so the archivist sort of just keeps an eye on the coffin, is just sort of leaning over it and drawing some basic rudimentary sketches of Harren Port and stuff like that. And Penelope says you should probably come with me and meet the commander if you're going to assist us on this mission. She'll want to know that you're well equipped.
Very well.
Just follow her up the vines.
I like to think I'm well equipped.
You wouldn't know yet, would you?
No, I got no idea. I just like it.
She,
My equipment. Yep.
you follow her up the vines. And she stands at the table and gestures for you to both sit down.
Very well.
Thank you.
The commander, in full plate, stands up, walks to you and introduces herself. "I am Commander Lenara, and this is my current troop. I hear you are to be thanked for assisting the leading scout and her crew with survival recently."
You hear correctly.
She goes, "Then I would like to reward you."
Andrew says that you're not mentally equipped.
No, it's certainly not. It's got
Oh, well done.
rough, but accurate.
Do we level up again?
Thank you.
She thanks you for your service.
Oh, we leveled up again.
Sweet, that was quick.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Just gonna quickly,
Are we doing it?
we doing it?
Oh, we doing it.
We're doing it.
Just quickly smash through some skillists,
Alright.
some skrillists.
Well, we can get civic abilities. Should I up my persuasion even further?
Please.
If you want, yeah. Like, it can't hurt, but it's just a miracle that... Honestly, even if you were rolling an average of 5, you should be getting like 16s, more or less, 15s. And you somehow roll critical fails or 2s all the time.
So if I up it to 4, increases base attitude with strangers by 20. So basically, I'll
Wow.
get essentially like nat 20s.
That's ridiculous.
Well, the game doesn't have a system, so I've worked it in a different way, but it will give you basically plus, what would it be, plus 4?
Sorry, I'd be on 4.
Yeah, you basically get a plus 16 to roll in persuasion.
That's insanity.
It could be useful. Nasty deeds. What's your thieving skill, by the way? Because you've been doing a lot of stealing for someone with a very low skill.
One thievery.
You should probably up
Two
that if you
sneaking.
plan to continue down your Eduardo-y paths.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, Eduardo still hasn't discovered a certain thing he can do
Uh-oh.
with thieving.
Yep.
He should probably sort of... No hints.
No
Just,
hints.
yeah.
Oh, just sort
Let's have a look around. Oh, did you?
I get excited.
Oh no.
Okay, so as you're talking to yourselves, she addresses you and says, oh, hold on, actually, yeah. Yeah, okay, gotta make a roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh, it's me
increase my
making a
persuasion.
roll.
My persuasion is now 4.
Holy shit, that's a nat 20, baby.
Oh,
Alright,
baby.
she
Oh, baby.
immediately puts her hand on your right shoulder, Winston, and then runs her finger across the haft of your blade, the hilt.
Eduardo definitely sees
And,
this and just like his eyebrows
she-
raise instinctively.
Yeah, and it hums in response.
So do I. Oh, that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Where did you get this?
This blade has been in my family for generations.
I love when Metric Dunn said, "Where did you get this?"
She was
The
like,
lady's like, "Where did you get this?"
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That's great timing.
It was perfect timing. She goes, "Where did you get this?" And you responded with, "It's been in your family feud." She goes, "What house are you from?"
What house am I from? I'm from House. That's
Decados.
House Decados, of course.
It's like, you're like, it's from house, and you look at it like a piece of paper with your full name, and you're like, Tecados, sorry.
Winston.
Wrong one, sorry.
And okay, so I need you. She's gonna make her. Holy shit. Okay. She goes.
If she needs persuading on that, I can help you.
No. She's destroying perception and investigation checks right now. She rolled a 28. She rolled a nat 20 on that investigation check and perception check. She rolled an 18 on the next check.
Smashing it.
She says,
I wonder if my blade leveled up with those last 2 levels we got.
and you're certain? Yeah. I'm literally in the management screen right now.
So exciting.
And she sort of looks at you and she goes, let's see how you fare in battle, and then I'd like to talk to you about that a bit further.
Very well.
Interesting.
What, you seem to be very familiar with this blade. What does it mean to you?
So, just something I'm familiar with. She sort of really tries not to let anything go. Now,
I'm gonna roll some sort of check to see if I can work out what's going on there.
yeah.
I like your weapon.
She likes mine.
Okay. You instantly, not only do you know she's clearly not telling you the truth, that was pretty apparent, but
Yeah.
she recognizes you recognize that the head of her axe has an identical wolf to the guards, the cross guards on your sword.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what you notice. That's it.
Commander Lenara, your weapon
Yes.
bears very similar markings to mine. I feel like you're not telling me the whole story.
Okay. Alright.
Shit.
Oh, is it a persuasion check? I'm just ready for my
Just
plus
roll.
16. Ooh,
Okay. It wasn't a persuasion check.
I know.
She proceeds to tell you, that's purely coincidence.
I search my memories.
It's a very common design.
I search my memories to see if it is a common design.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
I like how you're just like, that's the exact same sigil as what I've got. It's like, no, it's just a, no. It's
Okay, you know that it is absolutely not a common
That's what I thought.
design. Wolves are common. Plenty of wolves. However, the exact design with the mouth, the teeth arrangement, and the eye shape is specific to House Gorin, and that is the house of your mother.
Interesting. So both of these weapons are from House Gorin?
Yes, and do me another. I want you to make an investigation check.
Oh, I'm investigating like a boss.
Okay, and I'm also going to make you another check as well.
Oh, boy!
Oh, wow. Okay, the armor of the Utara is highly, it's incredibly well manufactured. This is military level gear, right? Hundreds of gold pieces were put into each and every piece of this. Like, the chest plate alone is probably a couple thousand gold.
Wow.
Right? It is clearly emblazoned with phoenixes and wolves. They are shielded by phoenixes on their bodies, and they carry wolves as their weapons.
Interesting.
You also know... Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, I remember from
Yes,
earlier
everyone?
that one of the guy's shields was a wolf head.
Yes, that's true.
So
You also recognize on the... how do I describe this? The cloth bits of their armor. There are symbols that look exactly like your mother's house.
Interesting.
House Gorin. And you can do whatever you want with that information.
Oh, there's going to be some persuasion checks going on.
Hokadoke.
So I look at Lenara knowingly, and I say, "So tell me about this House Gorin." I say insinuatingly and persuasively, because it was never mentioned until just then. Ready for this, mother trucker? Ooh.
I didn't know
whoa.
What the hell?
Okay.
33.
She's like, "Oh shit!
She-
I'll fucking tell you everything."
Yeah, she sort of like, you're very persuasive, and she's caught off guard by the fact that you were so specific.
Yeah.
And she looks at you and she says, "Well, shouldn't you know?
Ooh.
You're one of us, aren't you?"
Oh, hot damn.
Interesting.
I'm like losing my mind a little bit in the seat next to you. I was like,
It was like you were like when I did the persuasion thing. Oh,
yeah. Oh, damn.
Just like a fanboy.
Yeah.
And she goes, "I don't know quite what you're up to, but you were expected in Guelafren several weeks ago,
Interesting.
and you were to be inducted into the Utara under your birthright." She knows exactly who you are,
Oh, she
and it
does.
appears that she's caught you. You've caught her off guard, and she's just like, "Fuck it, I don't care."
Interesting.
She says, "This was to be the... I'd wondered where you have been and why you're flirting around with an elf. And this was your chance." Also, Penelope looks rather shocked at that announcement that you're one of them. And Lenara says, "Look, We have to take Harrenport, being run by what we believe to be slavers, the Silver Canaries, and we need to control the port to slow their supply of slaves.
Absolutely, we'll help.
Are you interested? You're going to come. Okay, yeah, cool. You interject. Sure, fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay,
slaves.
So-
I'm going to stand for that. Although I will have to stand at some point.
she points to you and she says, "You and the elf go back to the original path you took, and when you're ready, you'll meet Penelope and the archivist with the battle plans." And she sort of just ushers you away.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to drink this cup of water.
Good
Because that was quite a lot. Alright, well, I wonder whether we should leave it here based on that hefty bit of information.
Yeah, I'm just sort of staring at all these books on the table.
I think we've actually read most of those.
I think you can read them. I think you just go like right click and read.
How can you read them while they're here?
I don't know.
Learn skill.
I'm scared.
Well, they're just sitting on the table.
I'm just gonna announce loudly. I'm like, do you mind if I just, and then I do learn skill and see what happens.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. I've not read this one before.
Everyone, Penelope, kind of face palms,
Oh, no.
and everyone else looks at you with disdain.
Oh no, what have you done?
The eye looks at them back. So I'll put it back on the table. I'll put it back on the table. Here you go. I'm sorry. Look what the book is.
This is a different book.
On the inside it says illegible text.
Eduardo, I think it's time for us to move.
I really enjoy books.
Yeah.
I don't think they
So,
like me anyway, so it's okay.
Penelope, jeez. Penelope asks you to walk towards her. She walks towards the archivist with the two of you.
Okay. We've got 4 minutes left.
Yep, not a problem. She says, when you're ready, take the main path to back just before you hit Harrenport, and we'll be there. I'll be there with the archivist and a group of assailants. We've basically taken, more or less, we've taken heavy crates that we've been unloading here while we've been fortifying. As you can see, it's clearly heavily fortified from before. And we've been emptying the crates and filling them with gravel and dirt and passing them off as, cargo. And we've been overloading the port. We have a contact there. He's an old merchant sailor. Used to be one of us, took an injury, decided he wanted to sail for a living after that. He's been keeping an eye on the port. And Francis Heron, he runs the little inn there, and his grandfather started the port with him. He's been assisting us too. Pretty clear they're moving slaves through the area. For what purpose, we aren't entirely sure, because most of the slaves don't seem to make it past the shipping area.
Interesting.
Perhaps necromantic reasons.
Yeah.
We've managed to lay out some cover with excess crates, and they're pretty preoccupied. So we should have a good chance of swiftly taking the port in one go.
Very well.
Can you offer us any aid to prepare ourselves for the fighting?
Good question.
Help yourselves to any of the blessed oil flasks on the table, any of the materials that you need around here, anything you see of value. Anything on that table is basically yours.
Grab that oil flask.
Fighting daggers.
Fighting daggers look.
And you'll find some blessed ice grenades up near the medic. And have those. And if you see any other skill books you need, anything that can help you prepare for the battle, take it. but do not be greedy in front of the commander. It's one of her least appreciated activities.
Never. We thank you for the support.
I warm myself at the cool basket. Well,
She
water arrows. Yeah, I'm gonna
There's
grab
plate
those.
stuff over here too.
She moves in. She moves off to the pass to continue patrolling, and she says, "We'll see you soon."
I nod. Interesting.
All right. So we have to grab the coffin as well, don't we?
You can come back for that because you're going to be going straight to the port for now. So you can manage that later.
She's not going anywhere.
No, Chris.
Can I just quickly investigate the coffin?
The coffin? Oh no.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm standing far away.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I'm going to turn down the added value on the roll. All right.
There's almost nothing
it appears
untoward's happening. Yo.
It appears to be a coffin that was soaked in blessed water and sanctified.
Awesome. They've prepared all the correct rituals.
Yeah.
I say
exactly
knowing
right.
I've got no idea.
You just like bluff it.
Yeah.
Well, you did see Parthen carrying a lot of blessed water when he was dealing with Raful's coffin, and you also saw a bunch of blessed water in Ferdinand's doctor's surgery.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, we'll have to leave
Well,
it there.
it appears to be the perfect time to stop. Yep.
Absolutely, but that's good because it seems like there's a lot about to happen.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's about to go down next time. Hot damn.
All right. Yes, I'm glad that the save was successful. It's very important.
Yeah. I usually sneak in a quick save here and there, but I'm just getting so engrossed in telling the story.
All right. So I'm gonna jump out of the game.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's make sure it's saved. Yeah. Cool.
Even if you leave, as long as I'm still in there, it doesn't matter if you quit. That's all. Like I can just save and quit on you guys.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to quit too.
Yep, great.
Quit is our game.
Oh, well, there we go.
Done.
Whew. Jeez, that's interesting. It's ramping up.
Yeah, really. It's
Sorry.
getting extremely interesting.
Absolutely.
This is my bum's getting sore. There we go.
And it looks like you've just disappeared. And he's back.
It has been very fun, hasn't it?
Thank you so much for everyone that stayed on. I know Andrew's here.
Thank you, Andrew. I always appreciate it.
And thank you, Metric Dun, for running that for us again.
Yes, you've been a lovely DM insofar.
Absolutely.
Hey, Zubigoth.
Barry talking about his bum. What a time to join. Welcome,
I knew you were coming, so I was like, hey.
You've joined the exact right moment.
I know, you joined exactly as well.
Exactly as we're finishing. You got a bit of a cheeky bum. Cheeky bum.
Cheeky bum.
Also, thank you for I think it's important to note that all of this is Metric Dun's original work.
Yeah.
He's not just downloaded a campaign and running it through us. He's actually building this. Him coming on and doing the Dungeon Master part is kind of the easy part, I would imagine.
Yep.
So we really do appreciate everything you've done. It's
when it agrees with me, it's easy. Yeah.
No, you've been doing a really good job of that as well, by the way.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it's been awesome. No, you guys.
Stop it.
I'm just hoping for extra persuasion points.
Yeah, man, if
Quick
you
dual
mix
roll.
that out, you'll get plus 20 on each roll.
I know.
That's insane.
That's insanity. Now, admittedly, from what I know, leveling past the caps, you only get 8 or 12 of those, even if you hit level 50.
Right.
So you've used a lot of them on persuasion.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that kind of suits my character's playstyle.
Yeah,
it's probably worth it.
Especially if I have to talk Eduardo out of problems he talks himself into.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Well, at the moment, I can see Eduardo having to talk you out of a few things.
That is true. All right. Well, we better finish up. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Thank you, Metric Dun, for running it as always. We will see you next week. We're planning another flight stick challenge to start the stream off with, and we're planning a pretty awesome and fun looking game. So we'll announce that very soon, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
Have a really good night.
Sleep tight.
See you
Sweet
later.
dreams. Bye.